Last week, I put up a post asking you guys what episode of Weird Products should be the next one to receive a sequel, saying I would pick the one with the most likes to become the next episode. I got a lot of really great suggestions from you guys, and a lot of them are sequel episodes that I definitely want to explore in the future, but the winner was Jerry the Lego Tractor, who suggested Weird Tuner Products Part 2. Thank you so much to everyone who left their suggestions in the comments, and congratulations to you, Jerry the Lego Tractor, for the winning pick. Now, the Tuners are easily some of the most popular Cars characters. Despite having barely more than a minute of screen time in the first Cars movie, DJ Boost, Wingo, and Snotrod have stuck with kids and fans alike ever since day one, and have been the subject of so much merchandise you can't even begin to count it. I've mentioned several times over the course of the series that there was a time back in 2010 where the Tuners basically took over every single piece of Cars merchandise and did not stop appearing. These guys have had a crazy run on Cars merchandise, and I can't wait to discuss more weird products featuring them. Anyway guys, welcome back to yet another episode of Weird Products, a series where I talk about some of the strangest Cars items that I can find on the internet, official products, of course. And today, we're going to be doing Weird Tuner Products Part 2, so let's get started. Up first, I want to start off by talking about a new set of tuner t-shirts released just this year, 2025, by the company Goat Crew. They did a set of 5 different tuner shirts, one featuring all 4 of the delinquent road hazards, and then 4 different ones which each feature a Cars logo on the front and an image of one of the tuners on the back. It's really cool to see this. I love that they did a set of 5. You could have either all of them as a group or any of them individually. But I can't get over the graphic design for these. These are trying so hard to look cool, and it's really funny to me. You have this very hardcore, heavy metal band poster graphic design on these, which really clashes with the Disney Pixar Cars logo and Wingo and Snotrod. I understand what they're going for with the style of this shirt, and it is a stylish shirt that's very popular with young adults, right? This sort of graphic design is kind of always in because it's cool and edgy, but when you try to combine it with Disney Pixar Cars, using those classic renders of these characters, it just comes off as really goofy to me, and almost like a desperate attempt to market a Cars t-shirt to an older audience. There are plenty of cool Cars shirts designed for adults out there, both released officially by Disney and by other brands that don't feel try-hard like this one is. And some of the design elements on these look so dated, not in a fun, nostalgic way, but in just a outdated graphic design way. Look at the back of the Wingo shirt. Not only do you have this giant generic Wingo art and Cars logo, same Wingo art we've been getting for the last 20 years now, you also have this really generic font, Wingo's headlights, super bright with this edited, translucent picture of him from the movie. And what's the deal with these lightning bolts? This looks like it was slapped together on a free make-your-own t-shirt website. But instead, it's an official collab and it's $40. The fronts of these shirts are also really lame and funny to me. I'm going to start off with DJ's because DJ's is honestly really cool. You have this Cars logo and then a bunch of music notes, which kind of leads you to the back of the shirt where the music note design continues, and you have all this DJ art that shows you, whether you're looking at the front or the back, hey, this is the DJ shirt. After I saw that, I was like, oh cool, what other ways are they going to incorporate parts of the tuners into the simple front? Well, Snotrod has this orange glow around his logo. It's not as much as DJ's. I would have preferred maybe some flames or something, but still, it works, right? Front hints at the character, back completes it. Boost just has the Cars logo, but not colored in. There's nothing here, and even the little bit of coloring on the logo doesn't really have much to do with Boost. And what about Wingo's shirt? Well, Wingo's shirt says Disney Pixar Cars, Wingo. How did we drop the ball so hard? Looking at all these shirts, I think they would have worked a bit better if they didn't all need to incorporate the Cars logo on the front or back. It's kind of distracting and unnecessary. We could have the characters without the brand logo being so prominent. Also, I think that maybe The tuner artwork would have worked better if they made original drawings of the characters for these shirts that were a bit more intense and fit with the theming better instead of these classic renders. But hey, if you want to pick up these shirts, they are still out there. Some of them are still in stock on their website. They're still pretty new items, and I really appreciate the fact that we're getting new tuner merchandise in 2025, and while I did make fun of these shirts and how they look, I am happy to see more and more companies make Cars clothing for adults as Cars fans continue to grow up. Here's another recent Tuners t-shirt, this one available in both kid and adult sizes. Instead of using pre-existing movie renders, it goes for its own art style, a very cute, sort of cartoony Cars art style. And, well, as you can see, it continues one of the funniest trends we've talked about with tuner merchandise in past episodes of the series, throwing McQueen in there like he's a part of the crew. I've been joking about this in episodes of Weird Products for years now. There is so much tuner merchandise out there that just throws McQueen in, despite the fact that they never even interact in the movie. It's obviously done because McQueen is super popular, the tuners are super popular, they're also associated with McQueen because, they disrupt Mac. Mac, for the record, also on this t-shirt, seeming to be pretty happy hanging out with the guys that caused him to lose McQueen for half a week. I'm happy to see they've made up. I hear they go out for coffee together every Tuesday. While it is always going to be weird and funny to see McQueen shoehorned into tuner merchandise, this shirt continues another trend that honestly kind of bothers me with it. Very rarely do we see tuner merchandise featuring McQueen and all of the tuners. Almost always, one of the tuners is subbed out for McQueen. Poor Snotrod is nowhere to be found on this shirt. McQueen has just fully assimilated in and taken his place. It's just so strange to see McQueen crammed into the group at the expense of one of the members of the group. I get it's probably like a space thing, right? But then, why put McQueen there in the first place? Just put Snotrod there, right? But you can't talk about items where McQueen is with the tuners without talking about backpacks. For whatever reason, back in 2010, they made so many different backpacks featuring McQueen and the tuners. I'm showing on screen now some of the ones I've talked about in my past episodes. I covered some in my tuners episode, my backpacks episode, my back to school episode, and we're still not done. There are so many of these, nearly all of them featuring some sort of corny, drifting, or going fast tagline. Of course, in the past we've talked about the ever iconic Drift Mode and Drift Crew, but don't worry guys, this time I found some brand new ones. Introducing Drift Star, Catch My Drift! Catch My Drift! On its own, on a separate backpack in case you wanted it without Drift Star. Drifting, make your move, and of course, who can forget, drift! That's it. Just drift, nothing else. Just drift. And going off of my previous point, not one of these backpacks features McQueen with all four of the tuners. It's always some sort of combination, and while that is strange, I do want to, at the very least, shout out Drift Star, Catch My Drift for being the first ever tuner backpack we've seen with wheels. Finally, after all these years, we found it. A drifting backpack that can actually drift. Now that we've talked about clothing and accessories, I want to talk about some weird tuner toys. Now, the tuners are no stranger to appearing in some of Mattel's many, many large-scale plastic cars gimmick lines. Last time, we talked about how Wingo, Boost, and Snotrod were released in the Ripstick Racers line, a line of Ripcord Power cars released in 2006 and 2007 as one of the earliest lines of Cars merchandise. Well, in 2008, Mattel created the Movie Stunts line, a collection of cars that could do specific tricks while driving. If you've watched Phanatomas 31's collabs on my channel, you've no doubt seen the Movie Stunts Dinoco Chick Hicks, or as I like to call him, Sick Flips Chick Hicks, the Chick Hicks that does sick flips. But in addition to Chick and the Dinoco repaint for him, the line also included McQueen and some repaints for him, and then, the third character, a perfect match to go alongside McQueen and Chick Hicks, Boost. Yeah, Boost. And then nobody else released in this line. Since each of these cars have a stunt built in, I'm sure you're wondering what Boost's is. I mean, look at the other two, they're awesome. Chick Hicks does a vertical flip, McQueen does a horizontal spin flip. Boost, lower your expectations. Lower, lower, lower. Are they low enough yet? Probably not. Boost drives forward, spins a little bit, and then changes direction. Epic! Oh, wait a second, guys. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. He's not just spinning a little and changing direction. He's drifting! Whoa, look at that sick drifting action! Oh my gosh, I said drift! That means you gotta buy it now! Whoa! Look, inherently, there is nothing wrong with this boost. This is a very standard, typical trick for a toy car to do, right? We've all seen not only pullback action cars, but cars that kind of spin and change direction and stuff. It's very common. And it works and makes sense for Boost as a character. The thing is, Chick Hicks and McQueen both do such cool things. They set the bar so high here. Imagine, like, you're a kid and you go to your friend's house and they have the Chick Hicks or they have the McQueen and you're so jealous. You want a car that does these epic jumps, right? So you go to the store. The only one they have in the line is Boost. You buy Boost and then all Boost does is spin a little bit and change directions. This doesn't even look like cool drifting. This looks like Boost forgot his keys at home and has to turn around to get them. And finally for this video, I'd like to introduce you guys to a toy line that I'd literally never heard of before today. Introducing the Wheelie Action Racers, not to be confused with wheelies or wheel action drivers. The fact that this toy line's name is so similar to two other product lines really doesn't bode well for its memorability, does it? If you couldn't already tell from the packaging, this line came out in 2015. Only 3 cars were released in this line, and it is easily the strangest assortment that I have ever seen. The Wheelie Action Racers toy line included Lightning McQueen, Max Schnell, and Snot Rod. What do you think these 3 would talk about if they went to a bar together? The back of the box for these actually shows a 4th item in the line, Lewis Hamilton, but I couldn't find any images of it in the box. Entertainment Earth was selling a case of these items back when they were released, and it only included McQueen, Max, and Snot Rod, so it seems that Lewis was either part of a second wave that came later, or he was cancelled and never made it out. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm leaning towards the second option, since no pictures of Lewis in box are out there. Now look, the inclusion of Snot Rod in a line featuring only World Grand Prix racers as the rest of its lineup is insanely odd, but he actually does make sense when you consider what these toys are. They're called Wheelie Action Racers because they are entirely designed around popping a wheelie. And Snot Rod with his big back wheels makes him an appropriate inclusion. These are cars that you pull back, then you press a button, and they start to drive only on their back wheels. Is what I would say if they drove only on their back wheels. In order for these cars to successfully pop a wheelie, a little arm pops out from the base of the car with another wheel on it that supports them so they can successfully pop a wheelie. So these guys can't even drive on their back wheels. They can't even wheelie successfully. They need help from their little R2-D2 third leg that comes out. Unfortunately, no videos of these guys in action exist out there, at least not that I could find, but I'm sure they were probably pretty fun when they were working. And honestly, having that additional leg and wheel was a pretty clever solution to these wheelie cars. But here's my problem. If the point of your toy car is the fact that it's supposed to pop a wheelie, and it can't pop a wheelie, so you have to go out of your way to develop a system that releases another wheel to support the other wheels while it does a wheelie, why are you making a car that can pop a wheelie? And is that still popping a wheelie? And if I say pop a wheelie one more time, will I go insane? You want to find out? Because I don't. Let's end the episode here. And there you have it, guys. This has been Weird Tuner Products Part 2. Thank you all so much for watching, and thank you, Jerry the Lego Tractor, for suggesting this episode idea. There are still quite a few strange tuner products out there, so I'd love to do a Part 3 one day, covering even more. There are some really strange things I left out of this episode that I'd love to talk about in the future, so if you want to see more Weird Tuner products, let me know down in the comments. And also let me know what other types of episodes you'd like to see in this series in the future. Anyway, guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye now.